Hey guys, welcome back to the Radium Records channel. I'm Bradley Denniston, and in this video today, we're focusing on all things reverb. From mono to stereo, I'm really gonna focus on pristine, clean, non-coloring reverb. And that's gonna come from the Denise Audio Perfect Room 2, which is a brand new plugin from them, and I've been sleeping on this company, so we're gonna tap in. I got vocals, I got organs, I got pianos, I got guitars. I wanna hear it on all those things and focus on the specific features that are different about this reverb plugin. And along the way, I'm gonna try to teach you guys everything I know about reverbs after mixing for 20 plus years. All right, let's go. Let's hear the song.
Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around with no one to turn to. Ain't no luck, just pavement covered ground where the birds don't make a sound and the sun don't break through.
Now let's hear Perfect Room 2 on the vocals.
She grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around with no one to turn to. Ain't no luck, just pavement covered ground where the birds don't make a sound and the sun don't break through. But you know, this little girl had a dream. She'll make it a reality, make it a reality. And she knows nothing in this life is free.
So right away, the reverb is so precise. It feels exactly what you feed it. That's what I'm getting back. And I was messing around with the width, taking it from mono to more stereo, just because this is a very vintage kind of sounding song. But let's go through all the functions of this reverb and explain what I'm doing here. So first up, you got the pre-delay. And I typically use pre-delay to separate the vocal, the dry signal, from the actual reverb. So you have that depth that happens, right? You have the vocal and then you hear the reverb. That is something that's just going to give you extra depth in your reverb. Also, making the reverb darker is going to do that. The first step is a little pre-delay, or early reflection, if you will. Now this attack is really cool because it's kind of a delay to the reverb. So you have completely dry and then the reverb comes in at whatever you set it. So 2000 milliseconds or maybe 30 milliseconds. So that's going to be different from pre-delay. Pre-delay is like an early reflection. Attack is like when the actual reverb kicks on, the attack of the reverb. So these are really cool to work together. Gives a lot more depth and dimension to the vocal and the reverb here. And then of course we have the length. So this can all be synced as well. If you click these little metronomes, you can sync it by time. Okay, so you can do it by quarter notes, eighth notes, etc. I like to do my reverbs typically just by ear. I like them a little sloppy and a little bit organic, you know? It's just the way I like it. All right, so the length, of course, this is how long the reverb tail is. And you have this really fun function here where you can just whoop, flip it to reverse it. Next up, we got frequency profile. So in order to explain this, I'm going to open up my handy dandy visualizer EQ curve analyzer.com from Bert Tom. And we're gonna see what this is doing, all right? Because sometimes it's just easier to explain when you can visualize it. Now, if we take up the frequency profile, let's take it down first. All the way down, you can see the low end starts to blossom. So that's kind of what's happening there. You turn it down, it's going to give the low end extra blossoming room in the reverb return. All right, and then you take it all the way up and you can see it all kind of shifts to a filtered kind of high end going on. So that's what the frequency profile is. It's almost like a filter, exaggerating the low end return in the reverb or filtering up and only letting the top end in the reverb come back. And let's hear how it sounds.
Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around with no one to turn to. Ain't no luck, just pavement covered ground where the birds don't make a sound and the sun don't break through.
Next up, the decay profile. Let's go back to our visualizer and really see what this is doing here. So this is the decay profile all the way down, and we get this kind of, it's a little different. You can see the low end starts to like comb filter perfectly, but it starts to like, it's a different blossom, right? Than this. Here, let me show you, compared. See, that's like, woo, and then look at the high end. See how it's all filtered out? So different, right? So here we go. decay profile. That's interesting. All right. And then we go up and look what happens. Not really sure, but things are moving. So if you saw, the frequency chart was kind of like, whoa, it's moving. So that tells me that it's probably like a feedback on a delay when you like have a tape delay and you go, whoa, 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 like it just infinitely delays into it. So let's hear what this sounds like on the vocal.
Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around with no one to turn to. Ain't no luck, just pavement covered ground where the birds don't make a sound and the sun don't break through. But you...
All right, real quick though, I got something for you if you made it this far in the video. Click that link in the description. I got you guys 10% off. I had to negotiate, have my negotiation skills together. So right here is the only place you'll get this discount code. I believe it's on sale at an introductory rate, so you'll get on top of that another 10% off. You guys can just say thank you in the comments. Let's get back to the show. So exactly as I was saying before, the decay profile, bring it up, and it's kind of just a repeating function feedback kind of loop going on. And when you bring it down, it's like really dope. It's almost like you just put yourself in this little studio room with nice ceilings, and the early reflections are really there, but you don't hear a lot of the decay of the reverb. So that's beautiful, like all early reflections. And I wonder if I kill the attack and the pre-delay, what does that sound like?
Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around with no one to turn to. Ain't no luck, just pavement covered ground where the birds don't make a sound and the sun don't break through. But you know, this little girl had a dream. She'll make it a reality. Make it a reality.
Slap delay, anyone? That's super dope. So that's kind of fun. I got a decay profile, frequency profile, working them together with the pre-delay and the attack. You get some really fun shit. Like, I did not expect that. I didn't know that it was going to do that at all. So that was really fun and something I would use a lot on, especially vocals that you want that kind of slap delay vintage vibe with. And then taking this to mono, like a mono slap delay on the vocal, man, that could be really, really dope. Actually, let's do that. Let's take this and let's duplicate this. And I'm going to do a slap delay into like a really nice reverb that's lush.
Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around with no one to turn to. Ain't no luck, just pavement covered ground where the birds don't make a sound and the sun don't break through. But you know, this little girl had a dream. She'll make it a reality. Make it a reality. And she knows nothing in this life is free, but you get just what you need. You get just what you need. Hey. Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around with no one to turn to. Ain't no luck, just pavement covered ground where the birds don't make a sound and the sun don't break through. But you know, this little girl had a dream. She'll make it a reality. Make it a reality.
You're goddamn right.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope. Let's bypass that in and out so you can really hear what's going on here.
Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around. Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around.
So good. So musical. I love this. All right, so let's move on though. Okay, we got the halo. What does the halo do? Let's check it out. Interesting. It looks like the halo is kind of doing what these are doing a little bit, but it's doing it more in the mid-range. So let's tap in and hear it on this vocal.
Oh, she grew up on the rougher side of town, had to earn her way around with no one to turn to.
it's just like a lot of different knobs that play together with EQ and texture and timbre. And I really like that. That's kind of makes this a little bit more interesting than just, here's a really clean EQ. Like, cool, man. You know, it gives us a little bit more. So obviously pitch mod, you're just going to modulate the pitch, right? So you can make it sound a little bit more analog, a little bit more wonky by bringing this up, which would give it a modulation to the pitch. And that's going to look like this when you turn that up. As you can see, it's modulating the pitch. So it's just moving through it. And that's a really cool way to add a little bit more movement to your reverb return. So super dope. And the width, of course, you know what the width is, but all it's doing is going from mono and opening all the way up to stereo on the return. And then of course the ducker. So ducking is like letting the vocal, anytime the vocal hits or any sort of instrument hits in the reverb, it's going to duck the reverb. And then it's going to release as you release from your vocals or whatever you're feeding it, depending on the release time that you set here. So you can hold on really long, looks like up to 600, 500 milliseconds. So you can hold on to that for a really long time and then release the reverb, which might be a really weird thing, but might be an effect thing as well. So you can set your release on whatever you like in your song. Obviously, make it musical, make it crazy. It's all up to you, right? And of course, finally, we just have the EQ up top, which is a really nice addition because now we can kind of filter out and get really specific if a frequency is just kind of poking its head up a little bit too much, or we want to focus on the mid-range or the low end, etc. And we don't want to use all these interesting textures and timbres with the frequency profile, the decay profile, the halo, you know, all that stuff. So it's really up to you how you use this. But to me and to my ears, this is just sounding like a really, really clean reverb. Now let's just hear this reverb on an upright piano and some guitars. That's the Denise Perfect Room 2. You guys, if you want to pick it up, click the link in the description. I have a specific discount code that you can only find right here. So grab it, 10% off right there in the description. If you guys like the video, drop some love in the comments. If you like the discount code, say thank you in the comments. All right, I'll see you next time.